Hey you guys, welcome to the Estonian Experience with Stu and Jay.
I'm Stuart.
I'm Jason, and today we're featuring a very special guest, Mr. Genka.
Hi.
Welcome.
Now, your real name is Henry Kotovic, and Kotovic means what in English, for those who don't know?
Pumpkin.
Okay, and we were talking a few minutes ago, people actually call you Pumpkin all the time.
Not all the time. Some of them who is trying to be funny, they are.
Are they succeeding being funny?
Nope.
So there you go, guys. Don't call him.
So you and I have actually worked together on 2 other projects. Do you remember the first one?
I think the first one was Radio 2.
Mm-hmm.
I was, the chief manager or chief
station manager.
Station manager. And I tried to a little bit freshen up the station. So this time I think was the time when comedy, the stand-up comedy culture was born in Estonia.
Yeah.
And I heard about you guys, I think, or somebody called me, and I don't know exactly what happened, but you were in a station and making a program in English and made jokes.
So that was your fault for the entire program.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other thing, for those of you who don't know, most people don't know that there was a movie called The Chuck Band Show, and he reprised his role as my station manager, and my character gets cancer and doesn't die, unfortunately. But it was a huge success of a movie that wasn't actually successful.
Not yet.
We're not going to talk about
We'll
that
see
now.
in Canada in the near future.
Oh, dude, don't reveal any secrets. What have you been up to since then? You know, we've had a lot of changes in the world have been happening, you know.
Well, actually, nothing. I released the album. What I have, I was working whole last year. I released it in this year in January, and I was thinking that usually after you release the album, then it's gonna be like a tour or something and performances and stuff like that. But now we're here, no tours, no live.
So an album, are you a musician?
Well, not a musician. I'm a performer.
Ouch.
Just having fun. Not everybody watching this is familiar with Estonia. That's why we're doing this podcast in the first place. So Genka is basically one of the best-known musicians, performers in the country, and he's basically considered the godfather of Estonian hip-hop.
Godfather.
So,
yeah.
I wanted to ask one other thing. Do you have any fun memories from when we were doing the Chuck Band Show? That's not your first time acting, I know that. You've been in quite a few movies.
Well, I think all the filming procedure is very funny every time, even if you do the serious movie. But I really like the one where we were in a bar and had to drink.
Yeah, we actually did end up drinking.
We ended up drinking, and yes. And that was the fun part. I really enjoyed that.
That was fun.
I think that's the scene that I was supposed to be in, right?
I don't remember.
And I was somewhere, I was in Tokyo or whatever, so I missed the drinking.
Yeah, the problem, for those who don't know, we're almost out of time for our first segment. For those of you who don't know, basically we were having trouble acting drunk, so we decided let's just actually get drunk and then act normally.
Method acting.
Yeah, and the director asked me, okay, now you're a little bit too drunk. Try to be a little bit less drunk. No, a little bit more drunk. So you have to find the level of drunkenness inside of you. So you're okay. I'm not okay. I'll try to be a little bit more drunk, less drunk.
A funny thing kind of connected with that. I think maybe you heard me say it at one of the premieres or something. Where there's a scene where my character has to vomit, and so they gave me all sorts of food to keep in my mouth and just spit out. Mm-hmm. But after doing 3 or 4 takes of this, I actually did vomit.
Yeah.
I actually did vomit for real, and then the producer said, or the director said, "Oh, I think the last one was better, more believable." Now, I have 2 kids. You have 2 kids. You have 8 kids.
3.
3. Okay, 8, 3, same thing.
Feels like 8.
Feels like 8. Is it too much?
No, it's enough.
Approximately how old are your kids?
Well, my girl is 10, and the boys are 4 and 2. And we call boys in home, we call them Führers. Because they are the
rule,
the main men. So
that's German for Führer.
Yeah.
It's funny that you said there are too much or too many kids in the house. As I was mentioning to you before in the past, I mean, I'm Latino, and coming from Costa Rica, being one of 5 is actually considered a small family. My mom is one of 18, and my father is one of 13. So
But in Latino world, ain't that you have always like grandmother and grandfather around?
Right, forever until
that's the big difference.
Why do you have so many kids though in Latin American countries?
Well, we don't have cable until like recently, so.
And the second thing is that you're from Costa Rica, so you have like warm weather all the time. If they piss you off, then you just like kick them out from the door.
Well,
but there's you just sit there on the we are like small people living in a small apartments. You're just sitting in one room.
Well, yeah, but if it's Costa Rica, a Central American country, it's going to be Catholic. Which means
exactly. I was just going to say exactly. No, you can't get divorced. You're not supposed to wear any condoms or whatever. So they're just popping kids like crazy. You know, what can I tell you?
Like pills, okay. You pop them like you sell them, you import them illegally to the States.
Nice.
So I found out something from you, I was very surprised. We were talking on set of that movie. You used to be a summer camp counselor.
Yeah, I was like 20 years ago when I was in university. I went to North Carolina, somewhere up in the hills, in the forest for 2 summers.
Appalachia.
Yeah, and I was thinking that they told me that you're gonna be like a basketball coach there, but actually I had to I was teaching everything to rappelling, acting, archery. We shoot shotguns.
For how long you were there?
First year there was like 3 months, and second was 4 months because I found out that after the kids leave the camp, then the old people comes and you don't have to do anything, just play cards with them and they tip you a lot of money. So I was just sitting 1 month and hey, what's up?
You also did that, right?
Not with the old people. I didn't steal money from old people. You told me that didn't you go rafting on the Nantahala River? Does that sound familiar?
No, we didn't rafting.
Okay, because remember, I'm from Wisconsin, but I went to high school in South Carolina, so I went to Boy Scout camp in North Carolina all the time, and we always went rafting down the Nantahala River. But I also worked as a summer camp counselor for 7 summers, doing the exact same thing, riflery, archery. I was the kayak instructor.
Yeah.
You were with a Y camp, right? A YMCA camp?
Yeah.
That's
I thought you said that white camp. I was like, what?
A white camp in North Carolina would not be surprising.
All right.
So I just want to understand, like, do you think that summer camps are actually a thing in Estonia? I've heard that they have a few, but do you know anything about it?
Well, we have camps, and kids go to camps, but I was when I was little kid, I didn't go any camps because I went to my grandparents' house, and we have a camp not very far away from our house, and somehow everybody kept saying that the kids from the camp, they are like, not as cool as the rest kids with grandparents. So
there you go,
I was
kids.
detesting the camp idea all my life, so I didn't go there. I went to the sporting camps later, but not as a kid. I hate it.
This is the kid is not cool. Yeah. So we were just talking about camps and we were talking about our experience. One of the questions that I always had from people from another country, like myself going to America, is how good was your English when you went to America the first time?
Well, the thing was that in high school I was learning French and only like 2 years of English, and I thought I'm good in English, but I'm still not good. And I learned all my English probably from I was listening a lot of metal music, and from the lyrics. So I probably knew like 4 different words for casket and guts and stuff like that, but I didn't know the basic stuff. But I was thinking that I'm good in English. But second year when I returned, they said like, "Oh, your English got so much better the last year." When we asked, "What's your name? How tall are you?" You say, "My name is Henry," and they said like, "I have Arnold Schwarzenegger accent," and then I said like, "Yes, of course I do, because Arnold Schwarzenegger is my cousin."
Oh, nice!
And they were like, "Really?" Yes, of course. And I got a lot of like street cred from that.
What was the name of your summer camp? I'm just curious.
Camp Cheerio.
Camp Cheerio.
Yeah.
Oh, that's boring. I'm sorry. Mine was Camp Nanabosho.
That's like a Captain Crunch.
Sounds like faux Native American or something.
Yeah. Well, actually, that was a very, very cool experience for. This was the time when I learned that hip hop is not just music, but like a culture.
A culture, yeah.
Especially it gave me a lot of things for my rest of my life. So
you basically, like, the foundation of your hip hop career started in the mountains of North Carolina.
Well, I started before that, just write lyrics, And when the first, I don't know, Beastie Boys and Public Enemy came out, but when I went there, then was this golden era of hip hop, like where all the Wu-Tang and Snoop Dogg came out. And
Who were they?
Well,
Get out
famous,
here.
famous.
I'm from New York, I know.
And then I understand this time in Estonia was like, you are the rapper, you are the metal guy, you are the Depeche Mode guy, you are the bullshit music guy.
Kind of young guy.
Yeah, but there I understand that everybody was listening, like hip hop was like, oh yeah, this is something more than just music. So something has to, when the ordinary white kid picks up the CD of Wu-Tang Clan, it has to be something else than just music.
Yeah, I mean, it's the way you dress, the way you address yourself to people,
culture,
the way you walk, everything is influenced to it. But
My high school in South Carolina was mostly African American, and so I was, not in the majority. We had a lot of white people there, so it wasn't like I was one of 5. In 4th grade in Savannah, Georgia, that's where I went to 4th grade. I was one of 6 white kids in the entire school. So I grew up listening to a lot of rap. That's what I heard, and then I discovered Eazy-E in like 1988 or something like that. Nobody move, nobody get hurt. I love that stuff. That's why I played saxophone in a funk band instead.
well, for me, growing up, Costa Rica has a big influence in reggae because we are next to Panama. In Panama, when they have the Panama Canal, we have a lot of Jamaicans coming into the area. They actually settle there. So I grew up mostly with reggae, but obviously rap and what we call rap back in the day was more like an evolution of that spirit, So when I moved to New York, I was completely submerged into what it was like the Latino rap environment. So it was quite a good experience. I'm not a rapper, so.
Well, all the rap and hip hop music actually came from the Caribbean as well. All the reggae is like a grandfather of the hip hop. That's where all the culture and all the essence of the music actually came from.
I've actually listened to what do you call it, dance hall? I think dance hall music. And the lyrics that they have, like from Jamaica. Holy shit! Every single one, like whenever they have a woman rapping or singing, she's talking about, oh yeah, I keep my pussy clean. Like what the hell?
It's good to know when somebody keeps their pussy clean.
You have to keep it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I have been divorced twice. It's I support like.
Wait, how many times?
Twice.
Twice.
Yeah, there's not going to be a third one. But that's like basically why I support same-sex marriage equality.
They need to suffer as well.
Everybody deserves the right to get a divorce. That's how I see it. So you guys are both married as well, right?
Yes.
Why?
Because I needed a green card. I'm just kidding.
That's not what you need for public transportation.
Oh, that's right. No, I mean, actually, my wife is the biggest importer here. I mean, I'm an export sales manager by profession, and my wife likes to import. I mean, most of the women that I know here, they like to import men. Tell me why. What's wrong with Estonian men that women are importing their own from abroad?
What's wrong with Estonian guys?
Yeah.
A lot. A lot.
Yes,
we don't have time for that.
What is wrong with you, Henry?
We don't have time for that.
Well, I like to get a hint. I mean, no, I'm happy that she picked me, but I guess Stuart's not so happy. But anyways,
I think Estonian guys Estonian men are weird. They are like, I don't know. It's very hard to explain the concept of Estonian men. Sometimes they are like very, very quiet and don't say any words, and the next second they just get really crazy and drunk and start talking about some bullshit that I've never heard before. And it's weird race.
Well, you heard it, guys, from an Estonian man.
I'm an Estonian man. Yeah.
I've always noticed how Estonian men like to gather around cars, kick tires, and talk about nothing.
The one
tire kicking all the time.
There was one international, bunch of a lot of people from different countries. I was actually working in Saku Brewery for 6 years, and every time all the Latvians, Lithuanians, and Russians and all came together to talk about how the business goes. And the Lithuanians, they made a promotion for one beer where they mock an Estonian guy because they are so slow. And they asked, what do you think? It was, this is nice. And I was the only Estonian guy. I was like, excuse me, I don't like that. But actually that was cool, yeah. But we are not so slow, I think.
No, I mean, I've never heard that before. Have you ever heard this? Estonian people are slow. Actually, in America, we always think about Polish people being slow. No,
well, we tell Polak jokes.
Yes, all the time. But Estonian never.
You been in Jamaica?
Yes.
fucking slowest people.
But it's it's
Even
the
though
same.
we have the fastest one.
Yeah, they have. That's the thing, that they have fastest women and fastest men
Well,
on the earth. But everywhere, I was checking my passport. I was, please give your passport, and it took like 10 minutes. I was like,
Well, you have to remember that first of all, they're government employees, and second of all, it's like, for example, in Costa Rica, it's the same way, the same pace. And we call it pura vida. Pura means pure, vida means life.
Yeah.
So we are here to enjoy life, and work is just on the way. So that's why I'm defending my Jamaican people. Yeah, man. So that's the only reason why.
People are cool, but that's who I met was very
I never knew about Estonian people being slow. I met.
I've heard jokes about it, but I haven't actually noticed it myself. But I was asked a few years ago, like maybe 8 years ago, by ETV to film like a 2-minute clip in Estonian about what I have learned from Estonian men. And I decided to make like a whole joke thing out of it, but I was terrified. I was certain that once it got aired on national television, I was going to get my ass kicked every time I stepped outside. Instead, I was told that it was the second most shared video in the entire month of February, second only to all of the Sochi Olympics together. And basically I was just, I went to a bar and people would say, "Oh, it's you, you're the guy making fun of Estonians." Like, "Yeah, I'm sorry." Like, "No, it was great."
Yeah, we Estonian guys know we are like a bunch of dickheads, but...
So one of the things that I want to talk about right now is we were just talking about in the last episode about families, about Estonian men in general. I have a question for you. I've noticed that, I've been here since 2008 on and off, and I'm married to an Estonian woman, but I've noticed the same thing. Most Estonian couples that I've met, first of all, you guys don't get married right away, which is strange for me. And you live together for 10, 15, 20 years, get a house, have children, have everything. Then they decided to get married. In most of the cases that I have, they get married, in a year or two, they get divorced. What changes when the moment you sign a paper? For your experience, maybe you have done it, I'm not sure if you have done it or not, but maybe you know somebody. What, in your opinion, changes when an Estonian man signs a document saying that you're attached to this woman?
Wait a second. When they get divorced after a year or two, do they continue to live together? Or do they
No, they don't. They separate. They actually split up completely. And this is, I can tell you off the top of my head, at least 12 couples that I know. They have been together for between 10 and 20 years.
And then get married.
And then they get married, and literally a year or two, they get divorced. Why?
Well, it's a good question, actually. I really don't have an answer for that.
Why not?
Have you had this kind of,
Yeah, I know a lot of people who have been living together and then get married. But I don't know. It's some kind of cultural thing. I don't know. Maybe in the world where somehow the church or religion gives you that you have to get married, you can't live together. I don't know that. But they say that Estonia is a very atheist country, but as soon as Christmas comes, everybody's just running to the churches
to get the day off
and eating traditional Estonian food like mandarins.
Yeah. But it's a good question. I don't have an answer for
Yeah, for me, I've always been asked around all the time because I really can't comprehend the fact that, nothing changes really. You've been together with this person for so long, and
maybe it's some kind of fear that if you make it like official, then starts this official marriage thing happen, and then you...
Some sort of ownership.
Yeah. Not the ownership, but you start acting more like husband and wife, and then you get divorced pretty soon. I don't know.
So luckily for us, we have an expert in divorce. So what's your opinion on that?
Well, since you asked me about divorce, I can give you some official statistics about Estonia. Fewer than half of all marriages in Estonia actually survive till the end. You can only define a successful marriage as ending in the death of one or both partners. No, it's true that fewer than more than half of all marriages in Estonia end in divorce, and I think Estonia is tied with Sweden for the #1 divorce rate in the world. But only something like 30% of all couples actually get married, and then half of them get divorced. So it's like marriage basically just isn't really important for most Estonians. That's how I see it.
The thing in Estonia is that we have more women than men in Estonia, and we have, as you know, very beautiful women in Estonia.
Yes, definitely.
So maybe men, they are just like, they are a little bit afraid to commit with one person, and they're just, wait a minute, I'm just looking around a little bit more. I don't know.
No, I get that part from the point of view of a man. I get it if you want to shop around and see maybe you find something younger or whatever the case is. But why get married then if you're still shopping around? So
Then finally, okay, yeah. I didn't find anybody.
You're married, right?
Yeah.
If I can ask you, why did you decide to get married? Why married? Why not just have this Vava Abielu, this free marriage, living in Sen, in other words?
Well, we thought that let's make it like official. And we are just.
it was just the right thing to do
the right
for
thing
you.
to do. Yeah.
How long have you been married?
Oh.
5. But we have been together like 13 years.
Oh, okay. So you're getting divorced soon?
No. He already passed the 2-year mark, so you're good.
Oh yeah, the 2-year mark. That sounds about right. Why did you get married? Like, why would you do this to yourself and your partner? Okay, I'm not going to say that, but no, I wanted to talk more like we were going to talk about like the differences between like Costa Rican weddings, American weddings, Estonian weddings. For those of you who don't know, traditional Estonian weddings last 3 days. Why?
Yeah, why?
Well, the first day probably is like official wedding night, and and you have guests and you have room. You can like party as you have to. You are a little bit nervous, and you are maybe with your wife, not with your friends this time. But next day, then everything is like
Regular life.
Regular life. Then you get the friends who stay over, or depends how you have organized the things. Then the second day is like the party. So the first day is party as well, but the second day is party when the guys start to drink.
So first day is like party in moderation because in-laws and everybody's there.
Yeah.
So, but it's the same people all the 3 days in a row, or is more people come the second day, or?
Would you exchange them or something?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, for example,
Hey guys, it's day 2. Come on, it's your turn.
the only reason I'm asking because my wedding was very short and very small. It was like 8 people together, so I didn't have the traditional Estonian wedding. But you tell me this the second day is for the friends.
I had like more than 100 people there, so probably half of them stayed to the second day. Some of them just have to go to work or something.
Some were too drunk to go to work.
And
so they started drinking.
Then we
to
just
get rid of the
like
hangover.
make barbecue and drinking and listening music, just having a bunch of fun. And the third day, then this is like where the strongest would survive.
So they're drinking to get over the hangover.
There was like probably I went to my house, and third day I was living in the house in Pääsküla, and then we have like 10 people there, and then came some of them from the first day came back.
See, that was my question exactly. Yeah. So they come and go basically. So I know next time I'm invited to Estonian wedding, I'll make sure that get myself prepared for the first day. Second day I rest, and the third day I come back.
Yeah, if you want to party, then second day for the guests is probably
the best.
If you want to drink, let's say it this way, if you want to drink, probably then.
So does the wedding also involve sauna and all this stuff? Because I hate it. No. I really don't enjoy the sauna experience and all this stuff. So,
not really.
How was in your case, Stuart?
I don't know.
Well, yeah, we didn't have sauna parties for the divorce.
It should be a divorce party.
On next divorce.
Everything is like.
Yeah, I called it a re-bachelor party.
Re-bachelor. Oh, nice.
Re-bachelor party. Yeah. But okay, whatever. I'm not going to get into that.
Just like a wedding, but everything is going like from ending to
backwards.
Backwards, starting from the bed with your wife.
Instead of committing yourself to one person, you're committing yourself to everybody else.
Just leaving your wife.
For me, I find it fascinating because ours is very traditional. You're Catholic, you go in front of the priest, all the stuff. For me, I'm not a religious person, so I kind of get how Estonians feel about all this. But when I tell people people here get married, big parties and everything, there's no priest on side, or there's no religion or churches for all that matter. I find it hard to comprehend. So I like the fact of the 3-day party, though. I've never been invited, so maybe in the next one, maybe.
Yeah, but you can. Sometimes you don't exclude the part going to the church as well. That's how sometimes it starts in the church, and if you are feeling religious, probably you're not, but you're feeling religious. You have to.
You're feeling the Holy Spirit.
The touch of God in a very, very special moment. I don't know.
That's why so many couples in Estonia get married, and it's almost my favorite word in the Estonian language, which means Family Statistics Center. That's where they go there and they get married because they're.
Wait, that's where I got married.
Yeah. I still don't understand why you got married. You see what I did there? No, we're not going to talk about masturbation.
I don't do beats on the lyrics.
You're married.
Yeah. Do your homework next time.
Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about music. I mean, people know that you're a musician, a performer. When we did this movie together, this Chuck Band show or Ühe Mehe show in Estonian, was that the first time you'd ever rapped in English?
I started when I was starting rap. I did it in English because we didn't have Estonian rap, so I have to steal from the guys from the States.
You have to borrow.
Borrow, yeah, and adapt. So yeah, then we invented the Estonian rap after that.
One of the things that I noticed that when I moved to this country was that every single song, especially from the 80s and early 90s, was a adaptation of an English song. So I think from the point of view of the legal aspect, I think it's kind of like, weird, but it's kind of, if I was an artist and my songs are being interpreted in a different language, I'll be flattered. Because you really transferring the message, really transferring what I'm trying to say when I wrote this song. So in this case, I saw that a lot of happening. I think I really enjoyed that as well.
Well, arguably one of the most popular Estonian songs from the 1990s would be Kater's O Sinene. Yeah, it's popular. I like the song. It's energetic. It makes me nostalgic. But that's actually stolen, or not stolen, maybe sampled from. I think it's called L.A. Story or L.A. Story, something like that. And that's actually the woman singing. So who was the dancer in the video? Monika Tubi? Is that her name?
Monika Tubi, yeah.
Yeah, she's not actually singing it, of course. She's just lip syncing. But the American version is also sampled. Most people don't know this from, I think it was a Spanish singer or Portuguese.
I think Spanish.
But it's an extremely slow song. So I actually tracked it down and listened to it, and no, I think the techno versions were a lot better too.
Actually, I have a funny story about this. We were when I met my wife, we were dating in New York, and at that time, Sheryl Crow and Kid Rock had a nice ballad, and we were shopping somewhere, and my wife heard her on the radio, and she flipped out. She's like, "That's Daniel Padar." I'm like, "No, that's Kid Rock," And then I realized that she didn't even know that this was actually a copy or a borrowed song from these Kid people. So, but I really enjoyed the fact that most people can enjoy the lyrics. It was written in a different language into the Estonian language. I always said that it's a beautiful language, so I really need to learn it more.
Well, I've told you before how I learned Estonian by watching the A-Team and reading the subtitles in Estonian.
Yeah.
That explains my accent, because I was never practicing it by speaking it, I was just reading it. So that's why I have this crazy accent when I speak Estonian.
For me, it's always been criticized by the biggest critics in my life, my kids. They always say, "Oh, sinu eesti keelel on nii naljakas, imalik, or accent on imalik." So I'm like,
and that's what a Costa Rican accent sounds like in Estonian.
yeah.
I like when people talk with accent. That's cool, I think.
I heard a really good quote recently. An accent is it's a sign of courage.
Yeah,
a foreign accent is a sign of courage.
Yeah. That's why my wife is very afraid of speaking English, and I was like, "Why? No, I make so many mistakes." I say I make mistakes, a lot of mistakes, but it takes courage or just.
Absolutely.
And the accent is like you said.
Well, you've only made 8 mistakes in English in the past 5 minutes. I'm kidding. You haven't made any, actually.
Well, the main thing
I'm pleasantly surprised.
For me, I find that, not because I have an accent, because I do. I find it a sign of intelligence, because that person is not only trying to speak a different language than their own, but chances are this person speaks already 2 or 3 different languages. So it's always very good. So plus Estonian, as we said before, Estonian language is extremely hard, and I always get little compliments of me trying. Well, that's the main thing. You should try. So if you get a chance, please try to learn some Estonian, guys.
And that way you too can experience the most common phrase ever said to a foreigner in Estonia who speaks Estonian. "Oh, there have been people here for 40 years who can't even say hello." Like, idiot, it's 60 years, do the math. You've been saying that for 20 years already. That's it for today. Genka, thank you very much for joining us.
Adios.